Hello, 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 hello. This is G and Taffy. You see Taffy's head in here, right? She's making her way through Aquarius. This is your video. We're going to have Taffy sitting in with us, guiding us through the process, but don't worry. I got your notes. April 2023, Aquarius. This is for you. So we're going to talk a little bit about Mars, okay? We're going to spend a little bit of time on Mars energy because Mars is making a move. There's three things we're going to go over through for your month of April. Three things, Aquarius. And it starts off with Mars. Mars at the end of March makes a move into the sign of Cancer. So Mars leaves Gemini energy. Now, this is really important for air signs because for the last 6 months, things have been going, some things have been working out for you. Some things, right? Coworkers, significant one-on-one relationships, right? Because Mars being in the air sign of Gemini meant, I've always got to find my darn pen, meant that Mars was sending beneficial energy to Aquarius, that's you, and Libra, the air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And so it was trine energy, and it was for the last 6 months. At the end of October, Mars, went into Gemini. Actually sooner than that, but it started, it started September. So September, October, November, December, January, February, March. So really almost like 7 months. And then Mars was doing this out of bounds thing. So it was really intense. It was really passionate. It was really going for the gold. It was going for the gusto. It had a lot of drive. So if Mars was sending beneficial energy to relationships, to friendships, to group energy, to digital, to online, to inventions for humanity, to, humanity in general, as far as altruistic social causes, right? And your group and friend social circle energy, and then significant one-on-one relationships. So Mars gave us all, especially for someone like you, if you're an Aquarius, that's an air sign, you could have had a lot of beneficial grand air trine energy working with you. So if Mars now makes a move and goes into the next sign, it's no longer there sending a trine to Aquarius. It's no longer sending a trine to Libra. Right. So what it's going to do is it'll send a trine to your watery houses. Okay. But since I only have a limited amount of time in the video, if you have your chart, get your chart and look to see where your watery houses are at. And then just know Mars is in the sign of Cancer. And so it'll send a trine to Scorpio and it'll send a trine to Pisces. Okay. And so what you do is you outline those areas on the chart, like let's pretend house number 2 and house number 11, right? We'll just say, okay, this is where the trines are. You just mark them on your chart. So you see, here's my water energy and Mars will be sending trines. But what I will share here is where is Cancer energy for you. Okay. Because if Mars is going into the sign of Cancer for Aquarius, sorry, Taffy's throwing me off here. Yeah, this is in your 6th house. So this is your Taffy. This is your Taffy. It's your domestic pets. Yeah, you have Cancer in the 6th house. So that's the placement. The 6th house is the placement of our domestic pets. Okay. It is also our daily routines. So it's our health routines, but it's also our work routines. You follow? So it's really kind of interesting that Mars going there can set up beneficial energy in your Scorpio and in your Pisces, right? Because it'll send beneficial energy. So look in your chart, Aquarius. Look to see what house your Scorpio is in and what house your Pisces is in. Because you guys are all different, because we're all so unique, it won't be in the same house for everybody. It'll be close, but it won't be the same. Okay. If you are confused by anything I've said, I will help you out in any way I can. You just comment to me and let me know. Say, gee, I'm lost, or gee, I need this, or gee, can you help clarify? Just comment to me under the video. I will help you out. And if you don't have your chart, if you don't even have step 1, which is your chart, then you need that first. And you need your birth digits. You need to get your birth digits to me, and I can get your chart to you, your accurate chart to you. I'll just add that in there. Time changes make things really messy for people in general. So now, Mars going into the sign of Cancer. Cancer is feminine energy. It can be women. It can be males too, but it's feminine. And it is also about the past. So it's like your childhood energy. So home and family. It can literally be the sticks and the bricks, the physical home, right? Now, this is in your 6th house. So this really is super domestic for you, because it's 6th house is domestic, which domestic means at home. What we're doing when we're not at work, but in our house, like where we live. Okay. And so it comes down to like those daily routines in the home, things like cooking, cleaning. If you have babies in the house, like what do you do to nurture, right? It's eat, sleep, clean, change the Pampers, right? Like some of the basics, the things that are mundane. But then what you do really well is you also provide more than just the physical necessities, which is the 6th house. It's materials and things, ironing, washing, cleaning. It's the details. But Cancer energy is more about infusing it with nurturing, with understanding, with empathy, sensitivity, with feelings and emotions, emotional security, emotional needs. Yeah. So for you, with that placement, you would find it very emotionally satisfying to keep yourself engaged in routines where you are serving in some way, where you are doing something beneficial for somebody. And it could be pets, like how Taffy was here in the beginning. Pets can be a big part of this for you, but it can also be people, not just pets. It can be both. Yeah, it can be both. So the main thing here is understanding that when Mars goes into the sign of Cancer, Mars is a very impatient energy, right? So when it moves into your 6th house, you may see and feel all of a sudden you're getting really busy. You may start to take action towards some sort of a physical routine for your health. 6th house is health. Yeah, it's digestion. It's the connection of the body and the mind, and understanding how what we think and the thoughts we have and the thoughts we keep, how that literally affects our health and our well-being. So it is Mars in Cancer. It highlights mental health and mental awareness. Yeah. Health and mental awareness, or lack of, right? And healthcare system, and how, many countries don't do such a great job honoring mental health. And so Mars in Cancer kind of pronounces that. It brings it a little bit more forward for some folks. Okay. And so you may experience a little bit of that in your home, or a little bit of that in your day-to-day routine. You may have things in your chart that kind of set up a balance and make it easy, so it's not so difficult. But for some of you, there could be like turmoil. There could be intense emotions, because that's Mars, intense. Cancer is the sign of the emotions, remember? So there could be some of that, and there could be some mom issues. So mother wound. We think about the woman's right to have a baby or to not have a baby, right? The mother wound. How was my mom as a mom, right? Do I want to be a mom? Maybe I want to be a mom, but I can't be a mom. Like there's like a whole plethora of different ways we can have wounds over mom, right? Could just be my relationship with my mom. Like, oh my God, I have scars, right? There could be a lot of different ways that can look. And abortion, because Mars is the knife, Mars would be the surgeon that can step in, and it's women, right? So we see how that can connect, and that could be a thing. So we might be hearing things about just about that in the news, and those kind of conversations may be happening for 2 months. So this goes all through April, and like to the 15th of May or something like that. Okay. For half of May. All right. So I just wanted to paint that picture for the beginning of your April energy. All right. And remember, this is in your 6th house of daily routine. So this could be at the job too, right? This could be that for you as well in your world. Now we go to the very beginning of the month of April, and there is a full moon, like there is every month, and it's in the sign of Libra energy. Full moon in Libra, significant one-on-one relationships. And I think this is really important because Mars is already out of Gemini at this time. Mars left the sign of Gemini, right, the end of March, like the last 7 days of March. So what happens is Mars is no longer there to send beneficial energy. because it was in a trine. It was trining. And so that's beneficial. But Mars now being in Cancer isn't supporting significant one-on-one relationships anymore. It's not Venus and Mars connecting anymore. See, Venus rules Libra. So they were connecting. They were having conversations. Things were happening. You know, it was like we were growing. Things were moving along. You know, it had help, right? It was also that Venus and Mars energy. And we all know Venus and Mars, when those two energies get together, they can have fun together, right? They find ways to have fun. So now with this full moon in Libra, there could be a closure and a completion and an ending, and it can be to a relationship. And it can also be a business partnership as well. It can be that. Now, when I look this up for you, this is going to be in your 9th house. So this could be simply, I'm done learning, because the 9th house is like extended education. Maybe you were doing some online extended education. Maybe you were a teacher, right? Maybe you were literally teaching a class and the semester has ended. It can be that. It could also be traveling, because that's that 9th house. I like fly over the ocean. I get in the plane and I go on a long journey, a vacation, right? I like to seek. I like to search. That is that Libran energy in your 9th house. So partnering up, freedom and balance and equality and justice. Huge keywords here for you. Freedom and balance, justice, the scales of justice. This is a big deal, actually. So this is a really strong lawyer vibration, a really strong, someone who's got a lot of wisdom, someone who's like the ultimate diplomat, because it's Venus and Jupiter and they actually work together pretty well. They actually get along. They can understand. Jupiter is that wisdom and the understanding of the connection with systems within societies. This is that placement of that 9th house for you. Okay. So if you're ending something, it will only be like a major ending if you have something at the degrees of the full moon, right? And so the degrees, I give them out all the time so you can look in your chart at home, follow along, right? You watch these videos, grab your chart. It should be in your hand as you're listening to the video. It's at 16 degrees. It's in Libra at 16 degrees and 7 minutes. So a 2-degree orb would be 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 degrees of Libra. Okay. So see if you have something there. This is April 5th. I think I said that 2 times already. All right. So now that's the beginning of the month. And all the while we're remembering about the Mars thing in the background, right? We're keeping that in mind because that's important. That will be an underlying theme, right? For the next 6 weeks. Okay. Now we go to the new moon in April, and this is actually a big deal, right? This is a big deal, more of a big deal than a typical new moon. New moons are when there are new beginnings and things happen, right? Because it's like the sun and the moon are together. And when the sun and the moon, this is masculine and feminine energy. The sun is masculine energy. So it can typically be male, and the moon, feminine, can typically be female. What happens when they get together? They can make a baby, right? So it can be a new beginning. It doesn't have to be a human baby. It's whatever we choose to create, whatever we focus our intentions on, we can literally manifest it in our lives, okay? So finding out where this happens for you will be key, and then seeing if you have something in your chart at those degrees, right? Aquarius, this is happening in your 3rd house. Now, your 3rd house is also learning. It's also learning and teaching. But this one isn't like extended education, because that's like college, right? Or taking online courses, you know. The 3rd house is more like grade school. It's more like high school and grade school. Like it's the things that are before college. Okay. So this can be classmates. This can be coworker energy, right? Wherever you're at the job, because it's my peers. So however old you are, wherever you're at in your life, it's your peers, which means siblings, next door neighbors, literally the people that live right across the way. And so when you're out and about in your local community, these are businesses and merchants, like when you're shopping and stuff, those clerks that wait on you, this is that energy too. Okay. So this is a new beginning in that area of your life. And that's the area of your life. But also keep in mind, because it's learning, you may be choosing to start something new, to embark on a new journey, possibly going back to school even. Okay. And it doesn't have to be like the traditional sense of going back to school. I mean, it can be, But when it's Aries, it's really something about you being the starter of it and you being the initiator of it. It's almost like you're creating something here. You're thinking of something, because that third house is also your mind and how you think and what you think about. And if it's Aries, it's quite fiery. It's all about wanting to start something. So I know someone who has some of these placements. I know a few people, of course, I look at everybody's charts, like that's how it happens. And yeah, these are really smart people. These are people typically where their mind is real fast and catches on to concepts really quickly. The only thing is you got to be cautious because it's Aries. Mars rules Aries. So we're bringing up Mars yet again because Mars is kind of like ruling the month of April. You see, because of what I already talked about, the background and what Mars is doing behind the scenes, right? Mars is making that move into Cancer energy. And then here we are with this new moon. But this isn't just a normal new moon. This new moon is an eclipse, a solar eclipse new moon, right? So you're having this new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Aries in your third house. Again, check the degrees, always check the degrees, because some of you, depending upon how your chart is, those degrees may flow into a different house. It might flow into house number 2 or even house number 4 for you. It won't be like house number 8 or 9. It'll be the house that's before number 3 or the house that's after number 3. You follow? So the degrees on this eclipse, yeah, it's like 2950. So it's literally like a 30 degrees eclipse. Yeah. So what you could say is, well, I don't see 30 degrees in my chart. And you're right, you don't, but you will be able to find 0 degrees of Taurus. And that would mean that you got something. So look for 30 degrees, look for 0 degrees of Taurus. You can even look for, we'll say 28 and 29 degrees of Aries, and then 0 degrees of Taurus, 1 degrees of Taurus, 2 degrees of Taurus. That means you've got something that this eclipse is affecting. But I will just add here that if you have something at those degrees, typically you've already felt this. You've already felt this in your life. So remember, third house, the way I think, it's your local community, but the way you think affects the way you speak. So it's all about that. And remember, Aries in the third house is impatient. It leaps without looking. It acts before speaking. Like Aries has to learn how to use its words. Use your words. Don't fight, right? It has to use its words. It has to learn how to put away the childish ways and how to communicate. That's what Aries energy is learning. And I'm not pointing a finger at you because we all have Aries in our chart. I do. Everybody does. And so we all have to kind of like make peace with our Aryan energy because we all have it. We all have it. So we all understand like, oh my God, this is that. I know where this happens in my life. I see myself doing this where I'm really impatient, where I get bored sometimes. And I'll even instigate and start shit sometimes because I get bored, right? Aries energy needs a healthy outlet. It loves physical challenges. So you would do that based upon wherever your physical needs are and however that might be. For some of you, it might literally go in the gym and do some kickboxing. For some of you, it might, you might like verbal sparring. So I call it debating Aries in the third house. Probably if it's trained, it can be a great debater. If it's trained, it can be a great debater. And I'm going to say that a third time. If it's trained, it can be a great debater. Okay. Because it's third house. That's Gemini. That's Mercury. That's talking and thinking and information. It's an exchange of ideas, a rapport, a banter. But Aries tends to not think it through first before it speaks. And that's why the training is necessary. It could get itself into trouble sometimes because it will just even take action. It can be cutting words even sometimes. But these people have a very quick mind, very quick mind. So this makes them pretty smart, because the mind is so quick and can grasp onto things. Okay. So a new moon, this is an eclipse, and this eclipse has to do with your future. And how do I know this? Because it's near a north node, right? We have two nodes always. There's two nodes because they run along as a pair all the time. At one end is the north, at one end is the south. This eclipse is happening near the north node. And because it's happening near the north node, I know what the north node means. The north node means your future. It's where you're headed. So it's about your thoughts and where you're headed. And because it's so close to Taurus energy, it's based on our values, your income, your money, your creature comforts. How many of us are thinking about, gosh, I've been thinking about moving. I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about a new job. But what do I need for my comforts? What do I value? Who do I value? Who's going to be a part of that with me? Who would I prefer to have in my life at that time? Who do I know is not going where I'm going? You follow? Yeah. 2 new moons in Aries. It's a big deal. We have one in March and then another one in April. So it's like 2 big new beginnings. And the one in April is the eclipse, the North Node solar eclipse. And so for a solar eclipse, I have a whole series about this eclipse, a whole breakdown, a deep dive. There's 3 different videos, maybe even 4. Yeah, because I break down the actual degree and the meaning of it itself. So there's a whole series. I'll attach it below. If you want to know more, go watch that and just make sure you're thinking in your head, this is all in your 3rd house. And again, if you don't know for sure it's in your 3rd, comment to me. Even if you think you're right, but you want just confirmation, all you got to do is comment to me. That's a really quick look for me. It's not a big deal. I, of course, have to have your birth data so I can see the chart in front of me, right? So a new beginning, and it's going to be tangible because it's a solar eclipse. And when we're talking about values, tangible, it can be assets, it can be money, it can be the earth itself, it can be food, it can be clothing. Think of the creature comforts. What do you need to feel good, right? What sort of material? Are you into beauty and peace? Are you into smells and tastes and touch and sensuality? Are you into fine art? Are you into commodities? Are you into like gold and silver? Like all these things are Taurus energy. All these things are Taurus energy. But Taurus energy, keep this in mind, Taurus energy on that really high level is a minimalistic person. They're understanding reuse, up purpose, recycle, good for the earth. Like that's Taurus on that high level. Okay. So depending upon who you are, this can go a lot of different ways, but just know this is about your future and your thoughts about your future. Thoughts because it's in your 3rd house. Okay. If it's not in this 3rd house, if this doesn't make sense for you and you comment to me, I can hook you up with the correct video. All right. Because some of your ascendants might be a little off and some of the degrees may make it confusing where you've got multiple signs in one house. And it is confusing. That's why if we work together, we can figure it out. Okay. Now, as far as that is concerned, I didn't give you the date for the eclipse, April 19th. April 19th, the new moon eclipse. It is at 11:13 p.m., 30 degrees of Aries or 0 degrees of Taurus. North Node. So this is a big time of grand new beginnings. If you don't know and you want to know, just comment to me below and I will help you out in any way that I can, Aquarius. Thank you for your time. And if you are still here, you are a trooper. Bye-bye. Below the video, I'll have all the degrees for those of you who like to pay attention to the degrees in your chart. Again, if you don't know and you want to know, just comment below.